If you would have approached me, the punk rock girl version of me back in the early 90s, and told me one day that I'd be worrying about Social Security, I probably would have laughed at you. I was in my 20s. I wasn't worried about retirement. I was worried about, mosh pits, stage diving, hanging out with my friends, wondering where the next show was going to be, what everybody was going to be doing after work on Friday. Back then it was don't trust the system, screw Big Brother, total anarchy, everybody running around like little crazies. Today it means something a little different. Today that looks like we've been here for 40 years paying into a system that we haven't really been checking on. And back then you never would have thought about it, but now here you are in your 50s plus, and now you're wondering, what is it going to look like when it's my turn? What's my retirement going to look like? I've never stopped questioning the authority. If anything, I question it even more now, because back then questioning the authority was all about rebellion, but now it's all about holding people accountable for what is the way it's supposed to be. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Welcome back, everyone. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Christy, and on this channel, we talk about life over 50. The good, the bad, the unexpected, just real talk about everyday things in life. So if you enjoy talking about real life, go ahead and hit subscribe down below so we can keep having these conversations. Let's do a little bit of math. I'm not going to make you guys do any actual, calculations or anything, but I found out some information, and I want you all to hear about this because the Board of Trustees just posted their new report. I believe it was the beginning of June, if I remember correctly. And it laid out a timeline for Social Security, and you guys hear this, you're going to be furious, because I at first didn't quite understand, but once I started reading it, I was pretty furious. Because what they're saying is, and I took some notes here so I don't get it wrong, projected Social Security Trust Fund is now projected to hit a wall in December of 2032. December of 2032. This is June of 2026. Okay, that's only 6.5 years from now. That is not very long. I mean, most people just pay their car off in 6 years. So, it goes by pretty fast. And so, pretty much that kind of, with that perspective being that it's only just right around the corner, you guys. And if nobody in Washington does anything, there's no laws out there saying that if the funds run dry, that they're going to, still be able to do anything with those funds. They're not going to cut those funds. And pretty much what it looks like is they're saying is a 22 to 23% cut before you even get to your Social Security. That much is going to be gone. Think about that. You were told Social Security isn't going to go anywhere. It's not going to go bankrupt. But here's the deal. It might not go bankrupt, but the system is failing. It's not good news. It's not going to miraculously just come back. And also, for a lot of people, that 20 to 23% that now next year that they'd been relying on throughout their retirement, whatever they were able to save, if anything these days, that 20% that they're going to be losing, that wasn't just fun money for a lot of people. Maybe that was the money they were projecting to use for their medications. Maybe that's the money they were projecting to use for something that they find necessary, their health care, or just getting through the day-to-day. Like I said, with all the things that have happened in the world recently, with all the jobs being laid off, maybe you had a foreclosure before on your home, something that went tragically wrong in your financials and you were never able to recover, and now you find yourself in retirement and you're losing another 20 to 23% right off the top. That's really not going to be very beneficial to anyone. You know, it's going to basically keep people in their homes and not out spending money or doing anything at that point, which is not very healthy either. So here's what I found out. Back in, let's see, and this is what got me going. So it was back in 1983. Gen X is already the ones that have been fixing the problem with Social Security to begin with. Because in 1983, the last time that Congress actually did anything, you know, actually showed they had some balls and actually tried to fix something, they made a deal. And what they did is they raised the payroll taxes. So they pushed the retirement age, and then they raised the payroll taxes, and then they pushed the retirement age up from 65 up to 67. So we were the ones who have spent our entire working lives under all those new rules. If I remember correctly, I believe my grandfather retired at 58 years old with a full pension back when, you know, before 401k, when they actually had real pensions from companies. Those were the days. Yes. So Grandpa retired well at 58 years old and was able to enjoy those years after working. And now we've held up our end on this last 40 years of working our butts off and paying into all this. And now, right as we're right at the threshold, right at the prefaces of what's going to happen, right before we retire, you know, we're looking at them and those people, the all be in charge are shrugging their shoulders going, sorry, do you want to give us some more of your time and some more of your tax dollars? That would be great, thanks. So what do we do? What are you gonna do? The advice when you go out to these financial, you know, blogs and things and look up different things, they say the same nonsense. Just save more. Just work until you're 70. Who wants to work till they're 70? Shoot, that's insane. I'm not working right now. I don't want to go back to work, honestly. I'm having a great time enjoying taking care of my health and just living out here, and I don't need the work, but you know, anyway, that's for another video and all that. But you know, it's like, yeah, save more, do this, do that. Gee, why didn't I think of that? I'll just pull some money out of, I don't know, somewhere. You know, I got extra cash just right over here in thin air. I've got some of that. We'll just put that aside. You know, and then you got to figure, okay, what about the price of things? Everything keeps going up. So we got to have to figure on prices being, 30 times more in another 10 years. So we're make sure we save enough for groceries, insurance, the biggest scam in the world, gas, you know, just life in general as prices skyrocket to who knows where. It's really hard to, you know, determine when you're not sure how greedy the rest of the world's going to get on you. I digress. Anyway, the entire system screams, spend now, borrow, get out there, do all this, and then when you run out later in life, they look at you and say, well, you should have planned better. You know, no personal responsibility is going to fix this. We cannot just like go out and I'm going to be personally responsible. That's great, but it's not going to fix the problem. Even if we all did it, it's still not going to fix the problem. And then they've taken all that money from us all these years. Where did it go? What do we have for that? So we can't let ourselves just be out here as the forgotten generation. Gen X, we were raised way stronger than this. We paid into this. We played by the rules. We've done everything they've asked of us. We've kept our promise. I mean, I don't know about you, but a lot of us have been working since we were 14, 15 years old. And never once did we go without working. Most of us didn't even go to college as far as I know. And you know, we were just out here working, paying in, just like we were told to do. So what are we going to do now? Well, first we got to stop pretending that this isn't happening, because it is happening. We need to educate ourselves on what we can do. We need to figure out our own numbers, take care of our own responsibilities, pay down all our debts as much as we can, fix our own expenses as best we can, build our own cushions as best we can. And then we got to get loud because we're going to get our money back. We're not going to let the government just keep taking it and never give it back to us. That's not how this is going to work. You know, we've paid and did our dues, and we've waited longer than other generations. And, you know, if we got to get this fixed. We've got to recorrect it before 2032, before it catches up and there's nothing left but, you know, we lose out. And I don't think that that should be something that we should stand for. I think we should fight for what we should get. I'm not really sure how. I don't have all the answers. But this caught my attention today, and I wanted to bring it to your attention. And I got off onto the whole punk story because I guess the other night here in our little town, we had an old school punk band come and play. And I wish I would have known. I would have loved to have gone. But Agent Orange, if any of you guys out there know your old school punk music, Agent Orange is a punk band, surf punk band actually, from the late 70s, early 80s, I think they started. And I saw them on my 25th birthday in San Francisco. So that's how I kind of like got off. And then I was reading all these articles about Social Security, and I started thinking, gosh, you know, somebody would have approached me back then, talk about Social Security. I would have just looked at it and went, you're old. I'm out of here. I got better things to do. But now I'm like, crap, I'm old. I got to fix this. So hopefully you guys are on board with me and getting this fixed, because we all deserve this. This is our money and we're going to get it. Anyway, guys, I'm still having fun doing YouTube, still getting on here. Probably not every day like I was. I've been doing a lot of other things recently. I've got been helping my mom out as best I can, and just, you know, kind of trying to be around for my family. And, you know, sometimes it takes away from me doing some research and things to come up with what I want to talk about. So, but I am having a good time doing YouTube. Video on YouTube. I don't know how the right expression is to that. Making YouTube videos. That's probably the best way to say that. And having all these conversations. Anyway, guys, if you guys are interested in making YouTube videos and don't know how to get started, you should join the SKOOL, SKOOL, Common Sense Methods with Kevin. He's my coach. Him and his wife, Michelle, both great coaches, both great, been doing YouTube for a long time. Got a lot of information to share. I will leave a link down below in the description box so you guys can check that out. And get on here with me. Build a YouTube channel. Start your community. I'll join. Just, you know, it's kind of fun. All right, you guys. With that being said, it is Friday night. It is time for pizza and movies and a relaxing, old-fashioned Friday evening. So I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye.